I interviewed people about their nightmares. Here's what they said.
Okay. Do you experience nightmares?
I do, yes. Yeah, not that often, but yeah, I do experience them.
Have you had any recent nightmares? And could you explain that?
I would say only recent ones, but I definitely have a vivid one that occurs quite a lot. So I don't ever remember why, but it's just the feeling of not being able to speak. So I know there's some sort of danger around. It's usually very dark. I can't really remember the actual imagery that I'm seeing, but it's usually the whole atmosphere is very, very dark, and I'm trying to talk, I'm trying to scream because I know something there's danger around, but I can't, nothing's coming out. So nothing comes out of my mouth. And then the only thing that I feel is this like incredible pressure on not even on my chest, but on my neck.
Like physical?
Like actually it feels like someone's physically pressing down on my throat to stop me from being able to speak. And I also have this feeling of like overwhelming panic and then almost trying to cry, but not being able to because I can't, it's not that I can't breathe, but nothing works, nothing's coming out. So that's quite a reoccurring dream I think I have.
A few months ago, it's weird, I was top of like a mountain, walking along as you do, and then all of a sudden just the earth crumbles beneath me. I just fall, I keep falling, and then suddenly I wake up, you get that feeling.
Rejolt?
Yeah, I wake up. Yeah.
Does that feel like physically, do you feel that?
The jolt, yeah. Definitely.
But anything in your dreams, you feel like physically?
The nightmares can be from stuff in real life leading up to that, but I don't know, I struggle to remember it.
Okay, there's one nightmare I always remember, right? Okay, so me, my mum, dad, and sister went on, we went to like Lapland or something like that, and it was snowing, and me and my mum went for a cigarette, which is really random, and we were out on this balcony, and all of a sudden this avalanche just came and like completely wiped out me and mum, and I could hear her, but I couldn't see her, and it kept going on. But normally, like with my nightmares, I wake up after that, and I couldn't. And then I woke up and I was literally crying my eyes out. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool dream.
So sometimes I feel like there's somebody watching me. I don't really know how to explain it, but I just feel like there's somebody watching me.
I have one which recurs, and it plays on all my fears, which I really don't like. So I kind of wake up and I'm in hospital and I'm the patient in bed, and I'm kind of aware that there's people around me, like I guess nurses, doctors, although I can never see their features of their face, which is always a bit creepy. And I'm aware they're like working on me, but I'm conscious and I can feel everything, like I can feel the physical pain, and I try to scream out and I can't, and I'm trying to tell them, I'm trying to blink or do anything or move or react, and I physically can't. And there's like this feeling of pressure, like people pushing down on my chest. And then my realization then comes to my mouth, and I've got an oxygen mask on, and I can feel things moving around inside my mouth. And then I can suddenly move. I don't know why I can then suddenly move because I can't move. But then I'm aware I can suddenly move, and I manage to like pull this mask off, and I'm in my mouth trying to pull things, and it's worms, it's earthworms. My mouth is full of earthworms, and I can physically taste the dirt, the soil that's on them, and they're all like tangled around my teeth, and I'm desperately trying to pull them out of my mouth, and I'm like choking on them. And then I always wake up at the point where I feel like I'm about to die from choking, and then I wake up. But it's quite disturbing because it's more than just, I think sometimes when people have dreams and nightmares, it's just the visuals. But when I have them, it's the whole sensation. So I actually experience physical pain. And yeah, it's bizarre. I mean, I had like this feeling I was being injected, and then I woke up and I actually had a sore on my arm. So I think I was probably scratching myself in the night, or I'd pinched myself while I was asleep. But that actual pain transferred in my dream, and I had that. You know, normally if you get that, you snap out of it and you wake up, but I just don't. And it feels like quite a long time between actually waking up and experiencing that pain. But I get scent, I get taste, I get smell, I get the whole works. So they're pretty vivid, which is not fun when they're nightmares.
A lot of my nightmares really visit places of the past. So people I've met or seen or have had interactions with, and some of my nightmares often sort of revisit things in the past. I think I had a really bizarre one about like an old manager at work telling me off. It's a job that I had many years ago, like working in a pub. Those are my nightmares. I'm normally those.
I can't remember a vivid recent nightmare, but I often wake up and I know I've had a nightmare. And I often get that jolt feeling, like I sort of jolt myself awake, and I'm aware that I was just about to fall, something was just about to happen. And then I feel myself, and then I suddenly wake up, and I know my heart's going quite fast, and I feel a bit sweaty. But I find it difficult. Recently, I've not really known what's been happening, but I've had that feeling.
Yeah. Do you ever get the feeling that you're falling as well?
Yes, a lot. I'm just on the precipice of something, and I'm about to fall in. I'm about to fall off. I think there's like a cliff or an edge or something, and I feel like I'm definitely about to fall, and that's always the point. I just wake up.
So the jolt and the falling come together?
Yeah.
Do you ever get the sensation of falling in the dream?
Yes.
And what does that feel like?
Falling.
Physical sensations?
Yeah. It will wake me up.
Do you ever get that jolt when you wake up?
Yeah.
And do you ever feel like you're falling in the dream?
Yeah, all the time. That's as I'm falling off to sleep though. I was telling you this about the other day, wasn't I, when I was saying about this? Yeah, so whenever I fall asleep, I always do the like kick out thing, which I think most people do. There's probably some biological reason why that happens, but yeah, and it's always, I look down and it's a flagstone, and it's always up at like a 30-degree angle. And I look down as I catch my foot on it, and I fall flat on my face. And as my hands are going down, I'm about to hit the drain cover, and then I'm awake and I kick out. And I'm like, oh, I was obviously drifting off. But that's not waking up from sleep, that's always when I'm drifting off to sleep.
In REM sleep?
Yeah.
Do you ever get the jolt when you wake up?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I kick out. Much to the annoyance of people around me.
Do you experience nightmares?
Not very often, but occasionally I have one where I'm fast asleep and then suddenly I feel like I've woken up and I'm falling and I hit the pillow and then I wake up. And the only other one I get sometimes all my teeth crumbling into my mouth. Which is quite
That's
scary.
really interesting because two of those are really common for falling in the teeth. What's it feel like to wake up?
After a nightmare?
Yeah.
Well, when you wake up like twice, don't you? You wake up, hey, you have the nightmare, and then you wake up, then it feels surreal. But then when you wake up in the morning, it's like, you don't remember, it's a different time. So I say you wake up twice.
It's really confusing.
It just feels really real.
Do you ever wake up inside your dream?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
And what does that feel like?
So many questions. What does that mean?
Have you ever woken up inside your dream?
Maybe.
Have your nightmares changed when you were a kid to now?
Yeah, I think so. I think I used to have really funny nightmares when I was younger, but now it's serious, maybe from watching horror films or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't have as many when I was a kid. Definitely have more as an adult, I think. They were more fun as a child, it was more dreams. Lots of flying dreams, but not like really high, like just low above the ground. Like I was just kind of floating. They were really good fun.
Oh, absolutely. I think when I was a child, I've got quite a vivid imagination. And when I was a child, I think I used to take my fears, and they used to become huge. I'm now an adult, and my fears are a lot more sort of fine to do with my personality. Like I'm quite organised, so some of my nightmares might be about being disorganised. And Yeah, they're much more tamer, but they're set in reality. Sometimes I feel like they're really happening. I think as a child, I always thought that you knew that they weren't real.
And as a kid, it really scared me as well. So I had, where I used to live, and this was the house I grew up in, there was the room that overlooked the patio, the walkway into the house. So there was a pavement, there was a step, and then you had to walk up to the house door. And I had this room that overlooked that pathway. And it was where my TV, and it was like a little snug, so I used to go in there, I used to watch TV as a kid. And I vividly remember this nightmare that I had. I was there once in my dream, and it was dark, so it was night outside, and then there was this kind of figure walking up the pathway, and he was, and I know it was a him, because it definitely was a man, but they were all in black. And they were like extremely tall, like overly tall, very much exaggerated, and he had one of those black top hats on. And as I'm looking down, I'm like there, and I'm peeking down, and he's coming more towards the door. And then suddenly, just as I wake up, he's starting to look up. So he's almost like caught me looking down. I remember that dream absolutely terrified me as a kid.
Most definitely. Because it used to be like scary monsters, stuff like that, but now it's just like a bad situation, like genuine stuff like school life, like messing up my coursework.
I wanted to follow up these interviews by talking to a psychologist and trying to understand what do these dreams mean and where do they come from.
So throughout my interviews, a lot of people have said that they experience the sensation of falling in sleep. What is that related to?
So Freud, the psychologist, did a lot of psychoanalysis on dream therapy and found that falling was to do with a loss of control in somewhere in your real life. So dreams reflect real life consciousness. So if you're feeling out of control in any part of your life, then that's what falling could represent.
That's really
Feeling a little
interesting.
bit out of control.
So some people feel the sensation of jolting when they wake up. What does that represent?
I think it's just another element of them feeling out of control. They are jolting because that's a part of the dream where they're woken up from, but it's because they've fallen, and that can represent something in their life that is out of control. It could be work, it could be relationships, it could be home life, but they don't feel in control of something.
That's really interesting. And then to kind of move on from that, people sometimes feel, in my interviews, have said that they felt physical sensations about part of their dreams. So, like someone said they scream, they felt like they couldn't scream in a dream, and they could feel that in their throat as it was blocked up.
Yeah, we don't know really too much about the physical sensations. I think that's just the feelings that links to kind of what's going on in their dreams.
And then the next thing is, I've had the sensation of waking up inside a dream before, where you feel like you've woken up, but actually you're still in this kind of dream. What was that?
I don't know, but there are not things that we know that much about.
Yeah.
Well, in psychology, the psychoanalysis of dreams is all about the meanings behind dreams. So the two main meanings behind dreams, the two main ones that Freud would have talked about would be the falling one, and loss of control, and also another one that you mentioned was teeth falling out as well. That's a common one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Freud looked too much at the feeling like you're in the dream. It's just a bit more reality.
So what's the teeth falling out? Is that again loss of control?
That represents, according to Freud, insecurities in your life. So it could be feeling kind of self-conscious about the way that you look, or insecurities with your ability in a particular task. It's like you're being judged.
Yeah.
That one.
And then something else I mentioned was the idea of nightmares changing as you get older. Does that relate to our own lives and how that's reflected in this?
Well, that's what Freud says. Freud says that the dreams are unconscious or subconscious, and all they're doing is representing real life. So dreams will always change based on what's happening. So
Elements of
reality.
memory.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And then the last thing was the idea of recurring nightmares. So some people get the same dream over and over again in one night, or they get a recurring theme over that long period of time. So what's that?
It will be something that is like an unresolved conflict that is trying to come into the conscious. So whatever it could be, it has a meaning behind it, and if you're not dealing with that, then it's going to keep coming up as a dream or a nightmare. But Freud would say that thing needs to be dealt with somehow, however it's represented in reality, it needs to be dealt with, otherwise it's going to keep occurring.
Thank you very much. It's really interesting.